All right, what's going on, everybody? Another day in paradise here, back again with another one. Anti mulatto sentiment is on the rise. Of course it is. Of course it is. Why is that? Why is it on the rise? It's always been here. I've shared a video clip of the Queen, the Halle Berry mini series they had from Alex Haley, right? Which is like I think it was uploaded or produced in the 90s, something like that, which of course took place hundreds of years ago. There's always been this kind of anti-mulatto sentiment in the society. I'm speaking to you guys from the United States of America, but as we see right now specifically, it's increasingly on the rise, for sure, because they see our numbers are rising drastically. It doesn't matter what city I travel to in the United States of America. We're everywhere. We're here, baby. We're here now. We're here. And I'm a millennial guy talking my shit. I'm a millennial dude, but I look at it and it's like the future, we're already here. It's just up to you guys to realize what time it is now to mobilize and organize. It's on you. I'm just doing my part. That's all it is. This is my contribution to you. Yeah, so we're going to talk about some of the propaganda and conspiracies that are out there that are basically putting a target on our back as a collective. I know a lot of you mulattoes, you think you're a little subgroup to the blacks, to the Bantus. You just want to be underneath them, begging for acceptance. I know, but a lot of you aren't. Especially those of you who listen to me, who tune into me, who subscribe or follow, whatever. You connect with me on social media. You guys are the ones who are the conscious ones who understand what time it is right now. So I'm going to share with you guys some of my findings. Let me go into of course, we got right here the backdrop, the background. We got Gohan, right? Gohan versus Cell. This is when I fell in love with Dragon Ball Z. I'm a big fan of Dragon Ball Z. And yeah, I mean, it's amazing kind of how the universe kind of speaks to you at times. Like when I was a kid, when I first stumbled upon Dragon Ball Z, this was particularly like the battle, the fight that was going on that I caught that caught my attention. As you can see, the blonde-haired fella Gohan kind of yelling, and then this other character here, which is Cell. But Gohan, the blonde-haired fella, he represents hybrids. He represents the mixed race hybrids in the universe. And it's just like I don't know the words to explain, but it's like the universe speaking to me. Like I connected with this anime during that time, say 20 years ago when I was a kid watching this, and I didn't understand these concepts at that time. My vocabulary was so infantile. Like even at that time, I didn't understand this stuff. I just saw two people battling it out, fighting and cartoon, version. But as dig deeper into it now as an adult, it's like, oh, okay, there's a reason why it spoke to me. And I'm seeing this character right here, as you can see on the screen, Gohan. It's like he represents us, the hybrids, the mulattoes. This is what it is. So, and of course, because we are a powerful force in the universe and society, there is a tremendous amount of propaganda and conspiracies out here to neutralize us and to destabilize us. We have to examine that and understand what's going on. So let me put this up on the screen right here. Got a couple clips to share with you guys here. I just uploaded this clip right now. I mean, not right now, like an hour ago or so. This guy, I've shared a bunch of his kind of audio on this channel. He says mulattoism. He scapegoats mulattoes more than anybody I've ever seen in my life. I'm not kidding you. This particular guy, and he's this guy, it's a female on the image who's the mayor of like Boise, Idaho. But the guy and the audio you're gonna hear, He really has a vendetta and a hatred for mulattoes. And he's publicly said this. I have it all documented. Okay. He's publicly said that the mulattoes are 1,000 times worse than the blacks. And this is one of these white Anglo-Saxon Protestants, right? These wasps, one of these characters. Okay. And why is that? Like, because they fear us, they fear the mulattoes. And I have a lot of documentation on this guy. And he's a good historian. He does a lot of great research historically in Europe with the Catholic Church and the Jesuits and etc. He does a lot of good research, and a lot of his points are accurate. But I analyze his fear, what he fears. He fears the future. He fears the rising mulatto class. And we're gonna get into that. And I've listened to some of his commentary. Like I said, I've been listening to this guy for like years. Like I'm probably 10 years now. When he talks about like some of the geopolitical, historical ramifications of, like I said, the Catholic Church, political intrigue in the United States, and etc., world affairs, like I've been listening to him for a minute, for a while. But over the past few years, I've noticed the tone of his voice, and he really highlights mulattoes. And he's publicly said how mulattoes, he's more fearful of mulattoes more than blacks. It's like interesting. What is it about mulattoes that fears these Anglos, particularly with this type of guy, this type of like white separatist? They fear the mulattoes more than anybody in society. Why is that? So I shared this clip earlier today from his own, audio. He says mulattoism. Now he points out this mayor, this woman you see on the screen. She's a current mayor of like Boise, Idaho. I've been to Boise, Idaho. And let's play it, and then I'm going to give my commentary on it.
The mayor of Boise, Idaho is Lauren McLean, but she's Jewish.
Okay, so
Lauren McLean. And they're pointing out the fact that she's Jewish and that she's married to a Catholic. They're all whites. Okay. Because all the Jewish stuff and the Catholic and all the religious kind of, side notes, that's all, hyperbole. It's all extra stuff. At the end of the day, they're whites. Okay. Just like how they do, the Anglos do with the Arabs, the Middle Eastern, the Hispanic, Latinos, that it's all the same. Okay. They're all on the same code. So they play that game, well, she's Jewish and she's married to Catholic. But look who they scapegoat. Look who they scapegoat. Listen closely.
here we have a combination again. Husband, Irish Catholic, wife is Jewish. And together they will rule a wonderful old city that was founded by white Anglo-Saxon Protestants.
He says she's Jewish, her husband's Catholic, and together they will rule a city, a wonderful city by white Anglo-Saxon Protestants. Like he paints the history so beautifully. Like they're going to rule this city. They're elected officials. They could be thrown out of office, right? They can be impeached or, voted out. That's a quote unquote democracy. Even the powerful state of California, like they attempted to vote out Gavin Newsom. It didn't work out in their favor, but they attempted to do it. You can impeach presidents. You can vote people out of office. Yeah.
In a rural area called Boise, Idaho, and they're going to rule those people to death. They're going to do.
You see how he says they're going to rule those people to death. But I want you to listen closely to what this old, antiquated, white separatist has to say, what his biggest fear is. What's his biggest fear? It's not the Bantu. It's not the dark-skinned Bantu with the hip-hop and all the crime. That's not this white Anglo-Saxon's fear. Listen to what his fear is. What his fear is ultimately. Listen closely.
Do everything they can to neutralize them, take their guns, destroy their history.
Take their guns and destroy their history. How are they going to destroy their history? Listen to what his fear is, who he fears. Listen closely.
Race mixing, miscegenatum, have plenty of mulattoism going on because we can't.
Plenty of mulattoism going on. That's his fear, is you people, you mulattoes. That's his fear. Not the Mexicans, not the illegal aliens, the invaders. No, no, no. The borders are wide open. They need their buffer class to come in here to supplement their declining population. The Anglos are always going to mix in with these Spaniard, European, Hispanics, these illegals. They need them to supplement their population. No, that's not his biggest fear. All these open borders. Oh no, it's you mulattoes. He didn't say the blacks are Africanized. He specifically, this is why language is important to all you knuckleheads. I had to block a couple fucking idiots who come up in here. Well, we're mixed too, you know. A lot of the black Americans are mixed. I don't care what you people are mixed with. I'm talking about mulattoes. The language over here is specific and important. I'm a language guy, professionally and otherwise. I do the language stuff over here. It's very important over here because a lot of your detractors and these interlopers, okay, who want to knock you off your square, they want to basically muddy the waters and confuse you to pretend, oh, we're all the same. I'm blacker than fucking Wesley Snipes, but my great granddaddy is, a mulatto, so I'm just as mixed as you. No, no. You can call yourself Creole. You can call yourself an MGM, whatever you call yourself. That's fine. If I don't see you, I don't look at you. I don't know. Like, no, we're not the same, homie. You can try that shit with the bitches and the hoes or all these other fools out over here. You're not going to do that with me. I'll just block you and I'll move on. I don't know. People try it over. I had to block some clowns. They put these stupid comments like, I don't give a shit about what you contribute. Like, if you come over here with the dumb stuff, I'm just going to get rid of you. Get you up out of here. This is not the spot for you. Okay, we center mulattoes over here. We document mulatto history over here, and we analyze the rising propaganda, conspiracies, and hatred that's going on against mulattoes over here. Period. This is a spot you go to when you want this information. So these interlopers and these knuckleheads who are hiding behind their avatar, none of these hoes cam up. That's the most beautiful thing about it. None of them are on camera. They have no stake in the game, and they act like their voice matters over here. Not over here. Okay, go over to the baby mama channels. Okay, the biracial baby mamas. Go over there and act like an idiot. Over here, it's not gonna happen. Okay, but this guy is specific. You see on the screen here. This guy says mulattoism. That's his biggest fear. He said they're going to take your guns and they're going to destroy your history. Have plenty of mulattoes. We're like, bro, I've been to Boise, Idaho. He's talking about Idaho now. Boise, Idaho, it's like a 1% black pot. It's the whitest state in the country. Montana, Idaho, Oregon, the whitest Anglo states in the United States. They have like a 1% black. It's so insignificant. There's like no blacks there. I traveled to the state. I didn't meet one black, maybe one. And it's crazy how they're like this particular guy. Now, the guy on the screen right here, he's a California boy. He's a California boy. He's born and raised in Oakland, California. He lives out in Pennsylvania now. So but he's speaking on politics on Boise, Idaho, as if he's in the area. He's not in the area. Okay. He's a California boy, right? I know, of course, he probably got punked by these mulattoes back in the 70s or 80s. These mulattoes who are trying to prove their blackness. They're going to punk some white boy. That's typical with the mulattoes. And so he still has that trauma from his childhood. And so even at his tender age of 60, 70, whatever he is now, he's in his 70s, I believe, early 70s now. He still has that trauma. He's still like spitting out like these mulattoes, they're going to destroy their history, mulattoism. I mean, if you analyze the mulatto population, see, but what they have is they have multiracial or two or more races. When you really dig into the statistics, they're not going to really categorize it in a ultra specific manner to where you can see they're mulatto, because they're going to put multiracial, or they're basically going to include hoppas and these other configurations into your whole, demographic. So someone who's a Mexican and a white, which is basically a white, they're going to include them in your whole demographic. It's like, but these are the Trump voters. These are, these aren't your people. And I laugh like that's the thing. Like he puts all his fear is with mulattoes. He doesn't talk about the Mexicans going in Idaho, right, to destroy their history. He doesn't talk about these other demographics. He's specifically fixated on mulattoes. And my job here with my social media, my channel, is to get these mulattoes to understand and wake up. You better smell the fucking coffee. Because some of these people, they're going to sit here and play games and pretend mixed race, they're against race mixing and blah, blah, blah. They're not against race mixing. They are clearly anti-mulatto. They're against you, not the Bantu, not the mestizo, the Hispanic, the Hapa, the Asian, the Arab. All these fucking Anglos do side deals with all of them. They are specifically anti-mulatto, period. Nobody's telling you the truth. You're going to get the truth right here.
Can't have any city in this country that is white. Can't do it. So we'll make sure we get our upfront.
And of course, he's trying to, raise hysteria within his own audience, saying they can't have any city in the country that's pure white. There are multiple cities and towns that are pure white. Of course.
Jews there to make sure we socialize and commonize this. So when the white people have had enough, and they've about had enough.
Yeah. I just uploaded that recently. Check out this. I got another one for you guys right here.
Women are white and they're ours. They belong to us. How are we going to preserve our race? Black men and white women don't preserve the white race. Got mulattoes there.
You guys hear that? He said black women, or excuse me, let me rewind that because he said white women and black men. Let me rewind that.
Our women are white and they're ours. They belong to us. How are we going to preserve our race? Black men and white women don't preserve the white race.
He said white women and black men don't preserve their white race. He said our women are white and our women are ours. But it's perfectly okay for the white boys to get their Asian fetish and have Hapa kids. It's perfectly okay for the white boys to get a black female and have mixed kids. He doesn't care about that. He's not talking about that. He's not talking about the thousands of white boys with their Latina wives and partners. He's not concerned about that. You have to understand when you analyze these white nationalists, these white separatists, and they talk about how they're against race mixing, like a Nick Fuentes or a Chem 123, little Hispanic, whatever. Okay. Just incel guy. When you analyze these people, they're not against race mixing. They're against black males with white women and mulatto males, period. They're not against the mulatto females. When you analyze it, they're against the mulatto males, competitor males. Okay. He specifically said white women with black males. He didn't say white men with Asian women because that's most of these people. That's the number one interracial relationships in the fucking country. They all love that. When they can't get a white woman in check, of course they can't get them in check because these white women are competing against them in political office, in the highest office, in the president office, like the Hillary Clinton. And you're going to have more to come, Elizabeth Warren and the rest of them. Like the white women are gaining so much power in society. They're competing with the white males for political power in the presidential office and every other seat of government, mayor, governor, senator, whatever. So their own household, their own women are committing mutiny against them, purposely competing with them for power in society. So when they can't get their women in check, they go run to the Asian. They got all these Hapas, the number one interracial relationship, which, they create all these Hapas, and like none of these, white nationalists are ever talking about Hapas when they talk about race mixing. Who are they talking about? They're talking about you mulattoes. They're talking about you specifically, like this guy said, if it's a black father and a white mother, they're really against the mulattoes out here. Who's representing the mulattoes? Where's your representation? Where's your advocacy? Okay. Where's your think tank? Who's speaking and advocating for you, pointing this out, presenting the information to say, hey, look at this. These people are publicly spouting propaganda and conspiracies against you. This is all public information. This is not sequestered secret information. I'm not like really digging up or doing research on some like Reddit threads or anything finding this. This is all public. They're very bold, just like the blacks, the Bantus, because they serve the Anglos. They're all public with this stuff. Okay. Let's continue on.
Have mulattoes everywhere, mulattoes everywhere. That's supposed to be normal. That's not normal. It's all sin. And I'm sorry for those poor souls that are mulattoes. That was not their choice, but they're black. And they regard themselves as black. And the black race cannot stand against the post-white power structure.
So his whole thing is because he represents this Protestant, Calvinist, Baptist kind of Christian, this WASP concept, white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. His whole thing is that the Catholic Church is all but Catholic. So he's positioned himself to be basically anti-Catholic, which is, no surprise. That's typical with a lot of these Anglo-American separatists. But who does he fear? He fears you mulattoes more than anybody on the planet. And I'm trying to tell people, like, look, I've been listening to this guy you see on the screen for years now. But when he talks about political intrigue or the Jesuits or anything, like, I've been listening to him for years. He's really ramped up his anti-mulatto hysteria the past few years. And the reason why these type of bastards are so cocky with their anti-mulatto rhetoric is because they know you don't have any representation. Same thing with the fucking Bantus. You ask yourself, why do these savages, why are they so bold and with their anti-mulatto rhetoric? Or how are they so bold talking shit about the light skin? Oh, you light skins, blah, blah, blah. What if we start talking about you fucking darkies? Oh, yeah, you darkies, you commit all these crimes, you fucking darkies. They whine and cry for the next 500 years. Racism, white supremacy. But they're so comfortable talking about you light skins, and they group you up and put you in the same group and you light skins. And I sit back and laugh because I'm not a light skinned black. Okay. Okay. I sit back and laugh. I'm like, you guys, you tolerate this. You let these people talk to you. But why are they so comfortable? Why are the dark skinned Bantus so comfortable talking all this cash ish about light skin, blacks, and the mulattoes and all this stuff? Well, because massa gave them the green light. Okay. We pointed out, we look at this guy right here. They gave them the green light. They told them it's okay. They fear the mulatto too. So they got to let their little slaves know it's okay. You can talk crap about the mulattoes too now. They're all in on it, baby. They're all in on it. And like a lot of people, they haven't figured it out. A lot of the pussy ass, punk ass mulattoes who always cry up in my comments, like they haven't figured it out yet. These people, they're all in on it. They're all in on it to keep you as a lost, confused, subordinate class trying to find your destiny. You haven't got the wherewithal and consciousness and understanding to know you got to develop your own plan out here, baby. In this world, you got to find your own tribe. A lot of these people, they haven't figured it out yet. The main point here is that there's a lot of anti-mulatto sentiment going on in society. It's on the rise. I can find this source here. I can find a ton of other sources elsewhere. Exactly, right? But this guy, he has a lot of information, like especially he ties it into historical facts and but this guy here on the screen, yeah, like over the past few years, like really like his fear of mulattoes has been well noted by a guy like me. And he listens to me, and of course I listen to him. No need to tag, no need to go back and forth. Like, especially if I'm not gonna get no clout. A lot of these hoes, I got pussies who tag me every day. You know, I got people who tag me every day. I just block you, or they just ignore you. If you're like, you don't benefit me or bring me anything, you're out of here. Okay. It's it's funny. There's people who tag me like for the past year. They've been tagging me, and tagging me. You're like, bro, you think you're gonna get my attention? Like I've been ignored you. I don't go to your channel. I sit back with my popcorn and tea. I use that analogy, and I sit back and laugh like, bro, I'm actually living my life out here, bro. I'm not tagging you. I look on my channel. Who's the last person I tagged? Like, I think I tagged a dude, the Al Show. Shout out to the Al Show, just basically to kind of raise the question for conversation purposes for these kind of mulatto affairs. But like to go back and forth and beef with people and all this crap, like I can't think of the last person I tagged, like to get your attention. Like every one of these hoes, these little troll accounts or whatever, who's like tagged me, man, all you fucking hoes are blocked, man. I don't, I'm only gonna know what you say if I go to your channel. I don't waste my time with you people. You're not hitting the Cash App, bro. You're wasting my time.
That is destroying the white people of this country, and specifically now the whites of the South. God created the races to keep mankind separate.
He said specifically the whites in the South. So he's a Confederate sympathizer. And he said God created the races to be separate. So he's a public white separatist. And he'll be like one of these Richard Spencer guys or whatever, Jared Taylor guys. Oh, don't call me a white nationalist. Don't call me a white separatist. I'm not that. I'm a race realist. I heard that guy, what's his name? Jared Taylor say something like that. Oh, I'm a race realist. It's funny you analyze guys like this guy's in, it's a different guy. I get it. The sentiments are congruent, but like they use his language, the race, God created the races to be separate. See, he's a Christian identity movement guy, the CIM, and all these different movements and sects within white nationalism, they're all intertwined. Neo-Nazism, white nationalism, white separatism, and Christian identity movement, and all this stuff, they're all intertwined. So he represents basically the Christian guard of that movement, of the white nationalism. It's a Christian identity movement. That's why he always references God. Of course, it says white God. God created the races to be separate. So he's admitting he's a white separatist, which is fine. But see, who does he fear more than anybody? The mulattoes. I'm trying to get the mulattoes to understand that. He looks at you, your existence, as a destruction of him and his race and his peoples. You better start taking this shit fucking seriously. Okay. They will do bidding and they'll side. They love the Hispanics. We're going to build the wall. I put a comment. It's funny. I put a comment on someone's page about this whole deportation, mass deportation and border shit. I'm like, these fucking Anglos, they need the illegals. That's their buffer class. They need the Mexicans. They need the illegals. That's their support system to keep them in power. They need the illegals to be their foot soldiers, to be their, whipping boy, to bend the knees so they can put their feet on top of them. They need them. They're not going to deport them all. Why? They have him here for a reason. That's their buffer class. And a guy like him, you get it. You see it when I analyze his rhetoric and I watch his videos, I listen to his commentary, he never highlights how the illegals, how the Hispanics are trying to destroy his white Anglo-Saxon Protestant history. No, he never talks about how the Asians or the Arabs or anybody else is trying to destroy his history as a white Anglo-Saxon man. No, he always highlights it's the mulatto. Your existence, your presence in society, to him, this white separatist, is a complete, basically, your existence is a threat to his existence. That's how he positions the argument. I've been listening to this guy for a long time. In the past few years, this is how he's positioned himself. So I've took notice. Yeah, the mulattoes over here are taking notice. See, they're so cocky now. They think you guys aren't even advocating for yourself. You're just existing out here. No agenda, no destiny, no people, no personhood. And I see some of the younger people, and it's like, and I get it. A lot of them, I give them slack. And because I see it's like a lot of them, they haven't figured it out yet. They haven't got their wake up call yet. They don't know like what time it is. So a lot of people are still confused or still trying to be cool with the Bantus and trying to be everyone's best buddy. And everybody else has their tribe, the Mexicans, the Anglos, and everybody. They all got their tribe, but they look at the mulatto. A lot of these mulattoes are tribeless. Not over here, baby. We got our tribe over here. But a lot of the ones out here who haven't found the information, they're basically tribeless. And I kind of feel, I sympathize with them. I understand. Yeah, they're young and dumb. They haven't figured it out yet. Eventually, they get their wake up call. They'll do some research. They'll go on YouTube and type up mulatto. They'll find me. They'll realize, oh shit, yeah, this is what's really going on. Yeah, let me finish this off right here.
All race mixing and miscegenation is sin. That's why the 64 Civil Rights Act was sin. If they were so concerned about the blacks of this country, they would have said, well, you know what? Why don't we give them New Jersey? We'll give them New Jersey. New Jersey's black anyway.
Yep. More to come. This is this conversation is going to continue, guys. We're not going anywhere. And the whole point is here with the mulattoes, like, you're not going to scare us away or, with your little propaganda. We're not going anywhere. We see you now. See, and because they're so cocky talking about us, because they thought, well, we're not politically organized, we're not galvanized, we don't have the numbers, or we're not. So they feel like we're not organized. They can say whatever the hell they want. And I mentioned this earlier on the stream, especially when you analyze the Bantu. Like I said, with these whole light-skinned blacks, the Bantus, the dark-skinned Bantus, they've been so fucking cocky for a minute, talking shit, especially about the mulattoes. The whole light-skinned stuff, look, the light-skinned blacks who call the dark-skinned Bantus their people, we the same people, and all this stuff. Look, you got to talk to them. That's your group. Go deal with them. The mulattoes over here, we're different. Okay, we not like them. You're damn fucking right. I'm not trying to be like you people. You damn right. We're not like you. Okay, over here on this side. Okay. But like I'm saying is, like, they've been so cocky for a minute talking shit about you. The reason why, because they feel like you're not organized effectively, that you don't have the numbers, you're not galvanized enough, and not enough people are representing you, you're not representing them, etc. So they feel like they can say whatever the hell they want. They can say whatever they want without no pushback or repercussion, right? But you got a guy like me, it's like, I got nothing to lose. I don't give a shit. I got nothing to lose. I have everything to gain out here, right? My whole job here is to give people a voice. Hopefully I inspire some of you guys, which I know I am. Especially I see people older than me that are like family men, family women, people who got stuff going on. They like what I'm doing. They're kind of inspired. I really appreciate that. That gives me the kind of motivation to continue on. I'm not special. But my whole goal here, my position, is to give people a voice. We got Chief Inspector who says mulattoes attract way more attention per capita from these types than any other for some reason. They fear us more than anybody because we rise to the top of any political sphere or influence or discipline. Any discipline, whether it's martial arts or football, basketball, politics or science or art, anything that we get ourselves involved with, we rise to the top. And that's particularly why it's like that mulatto excellence. They fear us more than anything. And they look at us, they're like, well, wait a second, this person, this individual, female, male, is like it's shattering their psyche. They're seeing that we're European, African, we're the blend. That's all it is, right? Virginia's Racial Integrity Act came out of the same movement that sharply limited immigration from Catholic Orthodox countries, Italy. There was a rise in WASP supremacists in the 1920s. Yeah, because the Ku Klux Klan was the leading secret society during that time for that very reason. Because of the Irish coming to America, and most of them were Roman Catholics, and the Italians and other European nations. Yes, that's like 100-century-year-old history in the nation. Yeah, and these people, yeah, it's still the same sentiment today, for sure. But they've joined forces, like the Catholics, the Catholic Orthodox countries, whatever, Mexico. They joined forces with all these Anglos, etc., to basically stifle your movement in society, to neutralize you. I've noticed that these guys are much more hostile to Puerto Ricans and other Hispanic groups. Another data point for the mulatto fear thesis. Yeah. I don't know about the whole Puerto Rican thing. I haven't examined it as well, but I really wish a lot of these Dominican mulattoes would see what we're doing over here. I'm not trying to, bring them over here or recruit them and all this. I don't care. You're Hispanic. You identify with them. Have fun. You want to serve underneath the Anglos. That's you. But, the whole Puerto Rican thing, I haven't examined that really. But to say that they treat them, I don't know. Like, to me, it seems like the spotlight is not on Puerto Ricans. The spotlight has been on Mexicans. Like, that's how it's been the past like a few decades because of the border issue. So it's been that way in the nation forever, to be honest with you. Like, even before I was born, way before I was born, like in the early 1900s, it's always kind of been more of an Anglo-American and then Mexican because it's a border nation. But they're in a position now, they need the numbers. The Anglos, they need the numbers, so they're bringing in their recruits, the illegals, they need the Hispanics, especially the Mexicans, to supplement their population. Okay, they're basically, quote unquote, making a deal with the devil, right? My whole position here, that's fine. They can do what they want, but I'm interested in the position of how they view mulattoes. And they view us as a threat. And those of us conscious mulattoes over here have to take notice of that. This is not a joke or a game. We're not going to do celebrity gossip over here. We're not going to do drama content over here. We're going to analyze this stuff and realize, okay, we got to take this shit seriously. People out here want to fuck up our livelihood, make it difficult for us to get jobs, resources, and navigate society. We got to take shit seriously over here. This is not a game. Not playing around over here. New Jersey does have a sizable white population, Italians mostly. Quite interesting that he thinks it's just black. Yeah, and the guy, thank you for pointing that out because he finished off saying that about New Jersey is mostly black. The guy that I had up here, he's full of shit. Let me put him back.
White.
Yeah, this guy. Yeah, he's full of shit. He's a California boy. Okay. And like you said, New Jersey is mostly, I can look at the demographics. I can do just a Google search and do New Jersey racial like demographics. I appreciate you bringing that up. It says 53% white, only 12.4% black. Yeah, thank you for pointing it up. Got a South African colored man in the chat. And I meant when I watched this clip earlier, I wanted to bring that up, but I appreciate you referencing that. You guys can see the screen here. Yeah, New Jersey is mostly white. And you said specifically Italians. Yeah, not even blacks or mulattoes, but they fear mulattoes more than anything. Says they're 53% white. Exactly. And he's from the guy on the screen I had right here.
Know what?
He's from California. He's from Oakland, California. It's just he got punked by mulattoes in the 70s, 80s. He tried to the mulattoes, light skins. They tried to fit in with the dark skins, so they tried to punk this white boy. And so he's traumatized from that. Okay, it's very obvious. And yeah, so he said that before I commented on his channel. He has a YouTube channel. I commented where he tried to act like, oh, California is mostly black and Hispanic. I'm like, bro, no, it's mostly Hispanic and white. The blacks are not, their numbers have declined in California over the past decade. So I've had to correct him as well. Like, he gets numbers wrong. Like I said, there's a lot of information he presents. I feel like it's credible, accurate. Is historically, he talks geopolitics and European history. He's well read. Even a picture here you see of him, he's got a whole bookshelf behind him. He reads books. He quotes sources from books and text. I respect that because you deal with a lot of these babbling Bantu idiots on YouTube. They don't quote anything. It's all about whataboutisms, right? So with this guy, I respect the fact that he actually has citations, quotes, and books, and etc. So he's well read. I give him that. But he does get a lot of shit wrong. And it's our job to correct these people. Please, if people want to correct me, they want to check me, okay, that's fine. I just have some kind of inferior mulatto pussies who are not on my level who want to like clout chase off of me to try to like prove me wrong. It's like, bro, you've been doing this for a year, okay? and you're not going anywhere with it. Okay. Find something else to do. I don't know. You're not going to get no clout off of me. But yeah, no, you put a excellent point here. Introverted smiles. Appreciate that. Yeah, the New Jersey population is majority white, over 50% white. So, but they're so what I'm pointing out here is they're so fearful of mulattoes. If they see a inkling, a small number of mulattoes rising in society or becoming more prevalent, you see more of them today than you saw maybe 5-10 years ago. Guys like this, these hardcore white separatists, they're fearful of that. They're not fearful of the Hispanics, of all the illegals. They're not fearful of the Asians who are going to take their lunch and punk them. They're fearful of mulattoes. And my whole position here is to give a voice to mulattoes. You guys better wake up. You guys better take notice of this shit. I'm not trying to really instill fear in you guys. I'm trying to alert you to understand this is what's going on in society. This is not like a game or a joke. Like I said, this is not the comedy hour or the what do you call the apologize, I had some audio in the background. This is not like a little comedy hour or a celebrity gossip hour and all this stuff. I'm going to let you guys know what's going on. So yeah, what's the next thing we got here? Okay. Got something here. This is kind of the main meat of the matter that I wanted to share here with you guys. Let me pull this up. Let me get this clip loaded real quick. All right. Actually, in the meantime, going to step away for a minute and yeah, you do that for a second. All right, guys, back in it with another one. You got put here. Shout out to you, Introverted Smiles. Anglos will soon be granting whiteness to all South African and Middle Eastern immigrants due to their rapid population decline. Exactly. Now, interesting dynamic here in South Africa. I'm here in the United States of America, where the Anglos have a majority here in the United States of America, and over where you're at in South Africa, they're a minority. But as I've seen here, as I've documented, as I've noted the past decade, okay, I'm in my mid-30s, millennial guy, they are granting access of whiteness to the Middle Easterners, to the Arabs, to the Hispanics. They need them for the numbers in this land here. And as I just shared with you with this Anglo separatist guy, okay, who's all the way he's in Pennsylvania. He's from California, but he's living in Pennsylvania. He's talking about Boise, Idaho, talking about they're trying to destroy their history. They're going to all this mulattoism. I'm like, we look at the population, like in Idaho, there's no blacks and there's no mulattoes. Like they're insignificant. It's mostly white. I've been there. Everyone's white over there. It's the whitest state in the whole country. But there's a fear that, like, whenever they see you, your whole presence, your existence instills fear in them. We got to take that shit seriously. We have to document that and note that. Who are these individuals? This is not a game. Like, we can't just slide this under the rug and pretend and play games. When people look at you as the enemy, you better fucking take notice and get ready and prepare. And this is the only channel, the only social media you find out here that's letting you know what's going on. All these other quote unquote mixed race platforms, I'm sorry, but I'm going to call a spade a spade. When you see them out here, these mulatto women who call themselves mixies and they're mixed race, whatever. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You're not going to get this information from them, period. You guys already know what it is. That's why you're over here. You put here, we'll have to see what it is. Yeah. We'll have to see what Trump does. The only serious people he's putting in his cabinet are those focused on mass deportation. Yeah, he's got what? Tulsi Gabbard, Vivek Ramaswamy, who's another, East Indian shill. No surprise with him. He's got Matt Getz, another kind of weirdo guy, and who RFK, one of the Kennedy guys. Like so far, his picks have been pretty. Like I'm not surprised. I think he picked Marco Rubio. It's funny, like the people he was talking all this shit about, like not too long ago. He's making them cabinet members, but of course because they're underneath him. What happened last time with Trump when he was in office is all these cabinet members, he ended up like firing a ton of people. There was a ton of scandals and debacles he had with Jeff Sessions and getting rid of people. He switched up the White House press secretary like 3 times. Like he just he fired a bunch of people. I suspect the same thing this time around. A lot of his cabinet members, they won't do his bidding, or they'll disagree with him on something. He'll fire him, get rid of him, right? That's what Trump is known for? The guy who's like, you're fired from The Apprentice. That's his whole tagline, right? You're fired, you're fired. Like that's what his whole his presidency was before. When none of these people did his bidding for him, he's like, you're fired, you're out of here. I suspect the same thing this time around. So I'm looking at some of his cabinet members. It's like, yeah. Born and raised in this country. I already know what time it is. My whole position here is to let the mulattoes know you better wake up and smell the fucking coffee. If you want to continue to serve the Bantu, think you can just kiss some Bantu butt and be safe underneath the Bantu, get them to fight your battles, you're going to be pleasantly surprised when you realize that same dark-skinned Bantu is working with this Anglo against your ass. And you're going to whine and cry and wonder out what the fuck is going on. Then you're going to find a guy like me and realize, oh shit. Trump is also stating that he has plans to lower the cost of gas prices after his mass deportation. Utah has also an enormous white population, blacks. Yeah. There's no blacks in Utah. It's basically white. Let's get into what I wanted to talk about, the main meat of the matter here. Shout out to Gohan, who's on the screen. We got here. Now, I found this clip from Exotical Sauce. That's the name of her channel. She's a South African lady as well. Go to her channel here. This is right here, Exotical Sauce. Okay. So I'm subscribed to her. And South African, I think colored. Yeah, she's a colored woman. South African colored. She's done some colored content. And I think I put a comment or a couple comments on her channel. It's like, I want to see more colored people. I want to see more colored people, more colored content. Because I want to hear your guys' stories. And so she's a colored woman. Okay. And but she shared this clip here. And I tried to look for the clip. I think this is on African Dysphoria Network's channel, the Phil Advice Show. We all know, dark-skinned Bantu who's married to a Mexican. He's so pro-black. Like, it's so typical with these motherfuckers, man. These black Americans that are so pro-black American, yet they can't marry a black American female. They marry a Mexican. It's so typical. You have to laugh. But he shared this lady, Exotical Spice, shared a clip from this guy's channel on her channel. And so I'm going to play the clip, but the clip involves us mulattoes. So we're going to get into it. It's going to be real saucy material, if I can say that. Real spicy material. Anti mulatto material from the individuals in the clip we're going to play here. So let's just take a listen and go right into it.
Community. Download the African Diaspora News app today.
This is a message to the folks who are women. Your men that look like you are not happy that you're laying down with Black men and having babies. Take a look at what happens when one of the women, who's one of the folks, was verbally accosted by one that looks like her because he wasn't happy to see her with a biracial baby by her side.
Now, that right there, we have to take note of that. Document that. I'm stopping and pausing the video. That is significant. This Black female publicly said on record biracial. She didn't say Black. So all the Afrocentrics who want to one drop you mulattoes into Blackness to do their bidding, to be their servants and subordinates, this person here publicly boldly said biracial. I can put the subtitles on for you guys. Listen to this.
I'm happy to see her with a biracial baby by her.
You guys hear that? To see her with a biracial baby. Gotta pause because, people out here try to play stupid. Like I did the video on my other channel about Dr. Umar, who's like, or I think it was on this channel. Yeah. This channel I did like a couple weeks ago. Dr. Umar, the Prince of Popeye's Chicken, was talking about, you're a mixed race queen, but you identify as mixed race. You don't identify as Black. So you're confused. We're like, bro, you actually ask these fucking savages for advice? Their job is to pay you and dance for you. Like you mulattoes are fucked up in the game. You haven't figured out the arrangement yet. But yeah, this individual is publicly letting you know there's a distinction. They didn't say Black baby. They said biracial baby. You better take notes and take notice, because I am. Okay, let's continue on.
Her side. Take a look.
Shark alert. You made a mistake. You made shark! You created a monkey. Shut up. You threw away 50,000 years of
so he's harassing. It's a white guy harassing a white woman, calling her a mud shark, which is typical. And he said, you created a monkey. He said, you threw away 50,000 years of genetics. All right. Accosting this white woman. And we're thinking here, why is this white lady here with her biracial daughter? Her daughter, her mulatto daughter, is looking all confused. Like, what the hell is she doing in the middle of this chaos? When I first saw this clip, I was like, this woman is to blame for a lot of crap that's going on. Why are you bringing your daughter in this hostile environment? No man is going to protect you there. You're surrounded by white males. You got the cop. There's a police officer here, some rally or protest or some demonstration, I'll call that. You got a white cop here, white male cop. He's not going to protect you. Like, where's the Black guy? You got a Black baby daddy. Where is he at? Oh, no. It's just you, the white lady. But you got your mulatto daughter here. I took offense to that when I see this here. I'm like, unprotected. Man, this is not a situation. But see, this is what happens when you're governed by them. When you're not your own people, you're going to be your own people when you are your own parents. When you have mulattoes who birth mulattoes, you are your own people. When you have these whites and blacks who do these Anglos and Bantus who do their side deals with these Hispanics and everyone else, and these Arabs working out their little side deals to subjugate and undermine mulattoes, yeah, then you're going to be underneath them. See, when the mulattoes, they birth mulattoes when we are our own parents, we are our own people. This is a solution. Like when you have these other people that are, this doesn't make sense. Why would this lady bring her daughter to this mess in front of this white supremacist guy who's calling her a monkey and, you know, oh, you're a mud shark and all this stuff? Like, this is a situation you're not going to win. Why even play the game? It doesn't make sense. You don't get anything out of it anyways.
To make that. Well, you dated a monkey. That's bestiality. You did bestiality. Bestiality. Yeah, and then you threw all your genetics away. Niggers have taken white America down to stupid ghetto talk like the way you're speaking now. You're speaking Ebonics, you dumb white.
Right? So he's accosting this white female, and the white cop is sitting there looking kind of stupid, right? Powerless. Okay, I might add, powerless. You got your badge and your gun and they got the state behind you, powerless. You got all these white people arguing with each other. Who are they? Who is this guy in the glasses fearful of? He's fearful of that mulatto. But he kind of is, but he kind of isn't, because that's a female. It's a girl. He's gonna grow up to be a girl, might be a Halle Berry or a Zendaya, right? Suck off a white boy. Okay. So they're kind of not really, they're not really worried. They're worried about the guys like Julian Lane, the guys like Gable Stevenson, who will fight them, punch them in the face, fuck them up, take a gold medal, and be the best in the field. They're more fearful of the males. When you analyze their social media specifically, it's the males they're more fearful of. They're not so much fearful of the females. But they always highlight the white woman who has like a black male partner. They don't give a damn if it's a white guy with a black female partner, unless they're against their little Anglo leader Trump, like a Robert De Niro. Then they highlight Robert De Niro, who's a white guy with a black female partner, mulatto kids. Then they highlight Robert De Niro. Then they highlight him. If it's anyone else, like, they don't care. I mean, anybody else, any other white boy, they don't care. They're mainly fixated when white women are with black male partners.
This isn't Halloween.
Even when you analyze like the text here, it says WW white woman verbally accosted by her folks, her people, for having a biracial child. So this is a black channel. This is Africa Dysphoria Network. Okay. The news source. They're even highlighting a biracial child. It's funny because the guy who owns the damn YouTube channel, Phil Advice Show, Philip Scott, he's got a biracial daughter, I believe. And it's like, he's going to try to consider his daughter to be black. It's like, no, bro, you got a fucking Mexican partner. Your kid's not black. Blacks don't have Mexican moms. Nice try. Okay. But that's not how it works. So I sit there, like, even his own media platform, he's sitting here, he's putting a biracial child. Yeah, well, I appreciate you, basically, calling it for what it is, but at the same time, like, they try to play games. They try to, like, with the whole one drop rule and pick and choose. Oh, them white folks are still gonna see you as black. You see that white boy, he called you a monkey. I don't give a fuck what this white boy says. Okay, this, for me personally, I call him worse than everything what he calls me. Trust me, I'm on YouTube, baby. But out here where I'm at, I call them the same thing. It's all good. That's life. The whole name calling thing, okay, it's not gonna really go away. Okay, for all you people. Like, they call you names, you call them names back. That's my whole position. My whole thing is, it's funny because I deal with the blacks, the Bantus, right? They'll call us names, but I call them names back. They say, I'm a white supremacist. I'm a racist or something. That's what they call me, the mulatto guy. I'm a white supremacist and all this stuff. And I'm like, you want to play the name calling games? You're just mad that I call you names back. Like, you want to get to the name calling thing. Everybody can call you names. Like, if that's where we're at, okay. See, and I figured that out with all these groups, the blacks, the whites, the Hispanics, and all that. They don't like being called names because we got all names for all you people. They don't like it. They don't like the disrespect. But the thing is, they're very comfortable disrespecting you mulattoes, and you mulattoes tolerate it. That's a fucking problem. That's why I hop my ass up here and I speak to you people. That's a fucking problem. You think it's acceptable for them to call you names and you just sit there and like, oh, it's not fair. No, you call them names back. They cry like a fucking bitch. They whine and fucking cry. They report all your social media. Not only that, they try to get you fired from your job. I've experienced that even in my own job. I'm like, I'm gonna say something. I'm like, man, even right now, I'm like, shit, fuck you, blankety, blankety, blank, blank, blank. You can fire me. That's all good. I got enough skill sets. I can still make my money. I'm doing good. In the next week, I'm going to be on a plane somewhere in a whole foreign land. I'm good. I'm good. My whole position here is let these mulattoes know if they disrespect you, you better fucking disrespect them back. This idea where we're supposed to just take it on the chin and be nice and walk on eggshells while everybody else is doing side deals, gearing up to be against you. I don't tolerate that. And these social justice warriors, pro-whack, liberal, quote unquote, mixed mulattoes. No, 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 no. Over here, it's a little different. If you want respect from us, you're going to give respect. We can do business deals with you. That's fine. But we're going to have to get our cut as well. This idea where we're out here just letting people just punk us and disrespect us, I don't tolerate that. A guy like me, I just have way too much pride. Like I said, like I'm gonna jump on a plane in a week. I have too much fucking pride. I will not tolerate this level of disrespect in this society. They're trying to engineer you. They're trying to position you and socialize you to think it's normal to let people fucking punk you out here. Like I was never raised that way. You got a white mom, mulatto vanguard. You anti-black. You don't identify the Bantus. I don't give a fuck what you people say. You got a white mom. I don't give a look. I will not tolerate disrespect from any of you people. You fucking dark skins serving the whites. I don't tolerate nothing from any of you people. The Anglos, the Latinos, and all these people serving the Anglos. Look, I don't tolerate any of that from any of you people. Okay? You're gonna figure it out. You're gonna find out eventually. The more you listen to me. Let's finish this clip.
No, you haven't even been there. Shut up. Shut up, you nigger. Go. That's what the you threw in your room. Yeah, you have nigger, you retard. Where did they come from? Europe. Europe. Now your jeans are out. What are you talking about? You're lucky we're not violent.
And the white boy says, "We're lucky. You're lucky we're not violent." And you know that's a punk ass fucking white boy. Because if you think if I was there, he would say that. No, any man with some balls, he would not say that. You know, he's a punk ass white boy that doesn't deserve respect in society. And just because Trump is in office, don't let your president get your fucking ass whooped. Okay. If it was Biden or Kamala or Trump, you're still going to get your fucking ass whooped in society. You see how he tries to act so tough in front of a white woman and her biracial daughter. And to me, I'm pissed off more when I look at this clip. Not because of the white boy talking to shit. You talk your shit. I know you're tough in front of another woman. I get it. You're a white boy, okay? You're tough in front of this woman who's committing mutiny in front of you. That's your business. You got a child there. That's what irritates me is that they target the children. Look at this young mulatta female, this baby here, who looks confused, like she's brought into this world, not understanding the reality of the situation. That's what irritates me when I see this. You look at her, like it's a very small image I have here on the screen, from this video. She doesn't know what the hell's going on. It's like she was brought into this world not understanding the reality of the situation, as a lot of us are. Like, and nobody, your white mama is not going to lay out the blueprint for your own destiny. Okay. She's not going to draft a constitution, a guidelines, or, a code of conduct for you. Your little white mama is not going to do that. And trust me, your fucking black mama is not going to do that either. So you mulattoes, you biracials, whatever you people call yourselves, because a lot of you people, you want to call yourselves Afro-African, golden, whatever the fuck you want to call yourselves. Look, you haven't figured it out yet. Look, they don't have you. They're not laying out your own destiny for you, or code of conduct or constitution. That's on you to do. That's on you. And what I'm saying, when I look at this right here, like, this is what irritates me the most out of everything. It's not the white boy running his mouth, because he knows damn well if there were some mulatto men around there, he'd fucking act correct, as they always do. But you're talking crap in front of a white woman and her baby. It's like, it irritates me because this white woman brings her child there, exposes her child in front of all this. That irritates me. That I saw this clip, I was pretty heated. Even right now, I'm kind of talking like, it's very irritating to see how but see, where's the man at? Is this another bastard we got out here? There's no father, now another bastard we got. So now we got to basically kind of clean up the mess, so to speak. Your white mama's not going to help you. Like, they're going to set you up to basically serve whites. Like, they're not going to give you your own destiny, your own blueprint and code of conduct of how to survive out here.
What are you talking about? You're lucky we're not violent. Where's the father of that nasty thing? Shut up!
For those
And a guy says, where's the father of that nasty thing? Even my whole question was, where the hell's the father? Why this woman so bold? Because this looked like a demonstration they had on a freeway overpass. I don't know where the hell it was. They had some type of demonstration or freeway overpass, some probably pro-Trump demonstration. You ran into some white nationalists who were getting extra uppity, right? But of course, you got no men. You got no mulatto men up there, right? But you bring a mulatto child there. It's like that's no bueno. We look at this, we have to analyze. Someone recorded that. We have to look, this is unacceptable. You're putting mulattoes in danger. This is a white, okay, white mama putting a mulatto child in danger around these other whites. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're watching you now. We're watching now.
Europe. Europe. Now your genes are out. What are you talking about? You're lucky we're not violent. Where's the father of that nasty thing? Shut up!
For those of you who don't know what a mud shark is, as you heard him,
So it's going to be commentary from this Africa Dysphoria Network, and
or would the police have just stood there leisurely watching the whole altercation happen?
yeah, the police were there. The police car, you can see in a photo right there, the whole altercation, and
No, no, no.
it was basically a whole white on white situation. The only person that quote unquote had color, these light skinned blacks who want to fucking sucker you to be with the Bantus, to tell you you're a person of color. Like, it was a mulatto child. That's not a black. Okay. This was a Anglo affair, and you had the cops there and all this shit. But this white woman put her own mulatto child, okay, in danger. We gotta, we gotta take notice of that. We see that. That's unacceptable. That's the main thing I saw in this clip. Yeah, the white boy who was talking all this mess, okay, but I guarantee you, if I was over there, any other mulatto man was over there, he wouldn't have sounded the same. His tone would have been a lot different. Guaranteed. But yeah, I'm not gonna play this whole clip. It's Exotical Spice. I found her channel. Shout out to her. And I know she basically found that clip from what was the guy? Africa Dysphoria Network's channel. So yeah. So yeah. I think we got someone in the house. Was it Patriarchy Strikes Back? I think I heard of you before. Let me drop the link for you. I think I heard about you. Let me drop the link if you want to hop up here. That young girl was going to grow up and prefer the type of man who called her a monkey. And he hit the nail on the head. Hey, shout out to you, man. I see you over on TikTok, man. Your content is on fire. You know they don't like it. You know those mulattas. I know a lot of them probably blocked me and shit. These mulattas, because I love what you're doing, man. You call it out. Like, even you say stuff that I'm kind of like, quiet and silent about. You see that, these mulattas, because you have the extreme where they'll suck off the dark skinned blacks and serve the blacks to try to fit in with the blacks. You see these mulattoes, but you also have the opposite side of the spectrum. You have the mulattoes who suck off and serve the Anglos to try to fit in with them. And I really like what you do, man. I just want to give you your flowers now, shout you out. You've been out here longer than me, before me. When I first started my channel, I seen you in the comment sections over here on YouTube. I see, like I said, I follow you on TikTok, and I appreciate you. You're right. Like, and I love what you do. You call it out, man. Your commentary is on point. You see it from both sides. Like, you see it like where they suck off the dark skinned blacks, but then they also suck off the pale skin white boy Anglos, and they think that we don't see that. Like, we're not gonna analyze that or observe it, right? Not showing no love to the ones who do show love to the light skin or the mulatto men, like, bro, they get all the praise over here. Like, they're the goddesses over here. I want to praise them and promote them. But I really appreciate, yeah, what you do when you call it out. You call a spade, man. I love what you're doing over there on TikTok with those with your commentary. Yeah, that was what irritated me more than anything, was the fact that this lady decided to bring her child there. Was very despicable. What's up, Al?
Hello, hello. It's been a while.
Yeah, good to hear from you again.
Yeah. So the guy that you had on previously, you said he was from California?
Yep, from Oakland, Northern California.
Like, this guy does not understand the demographics of states. Like, some of what he
Clearly
said,
not.
I'm like,
Boise,
like,
Idaho is the whitest state in the country.
I know.
And he's trying to act like because the existence of mulattoes, the like 2 or 3 mulattoes in Idaho, that's destroying white culture. Like, he's a fear monger. He's trying to act like a couple like biracial people in Idaho is trying to like ruin like the white group. I'm like, it's a white majority. It basically will always be a white majority. I drove through the state. I stayed there for a couple days. It's mostly white. But see, guys like that, these fear mongers, they put a target on our back, and like, we have to notice that they're trying to basically make it seem like we are more worse, or we're so bad and so bad for society that we're trying to like hate on people or destroy people. Like, this is very serious stuff. We can't play games when people put a target on our back.
So this guy, is he like a white supremacist or something?
Essentially white nationalist, part of the Christian
Yeah.
identity movement. Essentially
Oh,
the
yeah.
white
I've heard of
separatists,
that.
all those labels are all congruent, basically.
Well, if he's one of those identity guys, he should know that Idaho is basically a hub for white supremacist groups.
Specifically northern Idaho, the Coeur d'Alene area, and
Coeur
also you
d'Alene,
have
right?
Coeur d'Alene, northern Idaho. That is specifically
Mhm.
militia territory for the white nationalist militias in this country. That is definitely a training ground for them.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've had events there where they have a bunch of these groups these white
You're talking
supremacist
about the
groups
one
get
with.
together.
You're talking about the one event with Patriot Front where they were in a truck, and then I think that they got busted, from what I remember. But they actually sued the. I think they sued the state and won. You're talking about
Yeah,
that?
No, I'm
that
talking about
was
stuff in the past.
well, that was one event. But remember, was it Rudy Ridge that was up there in Idaho,
Ah,
Northern
yeah.
Idaho?
Well, I
So
don't know if
there's
Ruby
that was
Ridge, yeah.
necessarily. I don't know if that was necessarily as much about racial identity as it was about
the
like the
federal
over.
government, the
Yeah, the
militias.
stepping. Yeah, like the
Yeah.
ATF and things like that.
For
So yeah.
sure. Well, what I'm saying is that what I'm pointing out is there is a history for sure of the connection between white separatists and these militia groups. But I give you
Mhm.
that specific incident, the Ruby Ridge, was specifically for the ATF kind of overstepping with the,
It's
the
precursor to
citizenry
Waco.
in that area. But it's been well known that the northern Idaho region, Coeur d'Alene, which I've been to, I've drove through there, I've explored this country, and what I'm saying is that the guy was talking about Boise, Idaho, and he was fearful, trying to say that, oh, they're trying to mulatto wise, and I'm like, bro, there's no mulattoes out there. There's no
Mhm.
blacks or
It
mulattoes
makes
out there. There's like
absolutely
a
no
couple,
sense.
but they use us to fear monger and to instill fear with other white nationalists. That's the thing that we have to point out and understand, that hey, people are using us to spread fear.
Yeah, this guy, like I said, this guy is off in terms of what he said. He mentioned New Jersey, and I'm like, oh, go give them New Jersey. I'm like, yeah, you're wrong about the demographics there too. I mean, New Jersey is not a predominantly African American state. It's just not.
I'd have to
And
look
so
up.
this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. I mean, it's like, what, I shouldn't be surprised, but he hasn't done his homework. I mean, his rhetoric is way off.
Yeah.
And he's just a
So,
joke.
so patriarchy strikes back. What's up, man? I think I've been following you for a minute. You do like stand-up comedy and stuff like that. I've seen you I've seen you basically kind of debate, I can say, or combat some of these black manosphere guys, and good stuff. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
And
I came
go
to
ahead.
you because I'd left YouTube for a while. I'm not necessarily a fan of all the gender stuff. I mean, I'm not. I think that there are some discrepancies, and I think that there are some differences with gender. But what brought me back was really the Drake and Kendrick stuff. So like, I'll be with Angry Man a lot, as you. I don't know if you know who Angry Man is. As you know, Angry Man is somewhat pivoted um, to that, and I found your channel after all the Drake stuff. So being a fan of Drake myself and having to listen to the backlash from the Kendrick supporters, that was how I found your channel. I found your channel through that. I've been on some of these debates on TikTok. I always get booted off. My account is probably about to be banned, but I think that your channel is very, very interesting. And I there's a guy named Chaotic Truth. He has a pretty good channel. I think that this is a conversation that is only going to grow from here, because the relationship between, as we see with the election and as we see with things going forward, the relationship between biracials and people who are fully black, it's kind of budding at this point. This year really was the year of division. I mean, if you look at the narrative, it started with Drake, but I think that narrative transferred to Kamala Harris, and
Mhm.
the narrative of quote unquote being not like us or whatever, right? That minstrel show of a song. Um, I think that it's going to go further from here, because what I think happened was in 2020, white people, in my honest opinion, cucked out or got really weak when BLM came around, right? And so people felt emboldened with this definition of what is blackness, right? And white people were weak at that point, and they let um, the black people and white people that supported that movement. They let them run roughshod with no pushback at all. And a lot of people got emboldened. And so what happened is at that point in time, it became all about blackness. And now they felt that they had to gatekeep blackness, because blackness at that point in time was something that was positive, right? And that's when the biracial delineation came, because we have to think back to where, how was Barack Obama heralded as the first black president, but then Kamala was not black, right? How do we go from that transition in really 12 years? How do we go from he's black, but she's not black, right? I think it came in 2020. I think 2020 came around and people wanted to gatekeep the ghetto. You know, it was, you know, we got to gatekeep the ghetto and you not like us, right? And this is going to backfire, right? Because when you start delineating, is blackness, is it about unity or is it about division? Is it about helping or is it about dividing, right? I think after BLM, it became about dividing. It became, you're not me, you're not this, you're not this, you're not that. Because before it was, we need all the help we can get. Now it's like, you're not one of us, right?
They're still begging for help. They're trying to cry about these Hispanics voting for Trump. Like, they're acting so stupid. They don't realize the situation that's going on. The Hispanics, like, have always sided with Anglos, even in their own homeland. They choose the strong white leader to lead them. They've always been comfortable in that arrangement. So the Bantus here are very twisted, like what you pointed out. Like, they're talking about who needs us or who's going to help us, or you're not like us, or you're not on our side. They're crying right now all over Twitter, talking about how the Hispanics, you guys voted for Trump. Well, we're not going to support your businesses. I'm like, people, like, they try to play games.
Like, they don't, I mean, the thing is, I don't understand the attitude, right? Because it's like, on one hand, the identity of blackness is one that's supposed to be oppressed. But then on the other hand, it comes from a point to where you're like, you're powerful. Like, well, I'm not going to help you. Well, according to you, you're supposed to be on the bottom. So your help means absolutely nothing. And that's just what I don't understand. Like,
so
well, understand.
let me just provide, not quite sure who you are, but let me just provide a historical point. And so what I mentioned earlier, I had said this some time back before the election. And so this is what I had said. What I said, because I saw this happening, was, because it's interesting you bring up Obama and then you talk about Kamala Harris. What happened in the election was that what Trump and the Republicans did was they used her biraciality, meaning Kamala Harris, as a wedge issue, to use an old term, to use a term that dates back from, you know, the Bush campaign in 2000 and probably a little before that. They used it as a wedge issue. When Trump went to the National Association of Black Journalists, that's when he unveiled his Kamala suddenly turned black. When he said, oh, she used to be Indian and now she suddenly turned black. That changed when he went and debated her. And he didn't want to go anywhere near that when he did the debate, which he lost anyway, even though he won the election. But he didn't want to go anywhere near that. But see, he had already put the seeds into play.
How?
So that is one of the things they use. Well, what he did was he attacked her that way. It wasn't a major attack, but he did that at an event at the National Association of Black Journalists. Because what historically is happening, when you talk about gatekeeping and all of these facets, you have to consider the history of biracial people in this country, meaning black, white, biracial people.
I want to cut you off a second here, Al. I'll let you continue. Just let me provide a point. The thing is with blacks in America, the former slaves, they always take their cues from their white massa. Remember when when Charlemagne the Fraud interviewed Joe Biden, and Joe Biden was like, if you don't vote for me, then you ain't black. That was a major thing. So blacks, you talked about Donald Trump at the Journalist for Black Journalists or whatever. So blacks will always take their cues from their white massa, white people, white men, and white women. So it depending on who whites consider to be black or who not to be black, black Americans, African Americans, they will always take their cues from that. This is why today all my comment sections on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, whatever, you're always going to have some black jump in the comment section and be like, well, according to the white man, the one drop rule, you still considered a black. But go ahead, Al.
Well, here's the thing. Trump wasn't giving out a cue. What he was doing was working on pre-existing tensions that already existed. That's what Trump was doing. So he wasn't trying to give cues here. He was basically seizing an opportunity to, again, use a wedge issue, divide and conquer. He was using that as a means of bifurcating, which, again, has already occurred. So what people don't understand about mulatto or black, white, biracials in this society is over 100 years ago, they had basically their own communities in this country. Places like Charleston, South Carolina, New Orleans, Louisiana, and so forth. And they basically also were very different culturally from African Americans, meaning monoracial black people. So that what changed was segregation, one drop rule. That changed a lot of that. And so what's happening now is after biracial people in general have the option with the census to be counted and to at least call themselves biracial in this society. What's happening now is you're seeing these older tensions which existed within black communities assert themselves. And now what you're seeing is gatekeeping. You're seeing a degree of gatekeeping because now you're seeing some people within those communities going, why are we wasting our time with this one drop rule? Why are we doing this? This isn't working for us. We didn't create this. This was our doing. This isn't something we wanted. This is foisted on us. So we're different. We see ourselves as different. And the difference, I think, with Obama and Kamala Harris is what happened with Kamala Harris is she got the biracial wake-up call. That's what she did. She will never admit it, but she got the biracial wake-up call. Because the problem was she tried to run as a black person. You also have to consider the fact that she had family from Jamaica. So that's a complicated picture because you got the whole anti-immigration thing going with Trump and the Republicans. That's a factor that you didn't really have with Obama. And of course, with Obama, it's different because with Obama, a lot of the issue was more along the lines of the fact that people were attacking him as different. They were really attacking him as a black person. They weren't really attacking him as a biracial person. That was the interesting thing.
So
good
can
thing.
may I say something real quick?
Yes,
so
yes,
the
sir.
thing is this. She was damned if she does and damned if she doesn't, right? If Kamala Harris had come out and said, I am not black, I am mixed, I am biracial, her political career, she wouldn't have had a political career. So she was forced to take that on. Okay, so
that's true.
And also, I don't think Donald Trump is stupid. I think Donald Trump, when Donald Trump does that interview, what is the -- song in the country? It's Not Like Us. I don't think Donald Trump is an idiot. I think that people, I think there were a lot of people who were younger and white. Is like, why are they calling this Drake guy white? Why are they calling him that? I don't understand. Why is Rick Ross? Why are they calling him a white person? Can you explain that to me? Because a lot of younger white people, they don't know what do you mean he's white? I don't understand.
Patriarchy. The thing is, you're a male. I'm a male. We're two mulatto males. Okay. I know you're mulattoes, right?
Yeah.
the thing is with this Drake, it's an attack on mulatto manhood. They're not targeting mulatto females. Remember, Kendrick, the Not Like Us, his baby mama is a mixed race female, as light complexion, just like Drake. We have to understand this. When you deal with dark skinned black males, as you have, they're going to outgroup and gatekeep blackness with the males, not the females. This is critically important for us to understand this. So with the whole Not Like Us, they're going to outgroup and gatekeep the males, not the females. They're always going to allow wiggle room. Now they're upset about Kamala because Kamala's current husband is a white male, white Jewish male, even though she sucked off blacks to get into high power. We get that. But her current partner is a white male. A lot of black males don't approve of her because of that. That they call these females tragic mulattoes, like a Halle Berry or Doja Cat. See, they try to punish mulatto women for not choosing the dark-skinned black male when they use these slurs like tragic mulatto. Okay, because they feel this is interesting stuff. What's your thoughts on that, patriarchy?
Well, I do think that there's some. I do think that when I see a lot of women, they're very malleable, right? So they want to be accepted socially, and a lot of times they will, you know what I mean, allow themselves to be taken advantage of by other because they want to be down with the cause or whatnot, right? So I agree with what you're saying, but everything that you're saying, I could see. But the point that I'm making is that I think Donald Trump understood the relationship between biracial people and black people at that current time. And I think he played on it, and it was. I'm going to say this: had that song not come out, I think it'd be a way different conversation. I think the conversation would be completely different about this, and it just he saw his moment. He took his moment.
I don't think the song had an effect on the election. I'm sorry. I'm going to be 100.
No, I don't think it has an effect on the election. But I do think that it furthers this narrative of what are people who are mixed. It was a conversation at the time, right? And
I've been seeing this, man. Sorry to cut you off. I'll let you continue. I'm just gonna say I've seen this because I seen you with like Dennis Sperling a couple years ago, man. I seen this delineation happen for the past 2 years. I'm up here talking my shit, blapping my mouth. I saw you over there with Dennis Sperling over.
Yeah, he and I had it out about that. Yeah,
all the black males over there. I saw this split coming a mile away a couple years. Go ahead, continue, please.
Well, the thing is, it has to happen.
Isn't Sperling that attorney?
Al, hold up a second, Al. Let patriarchy.
Okay. I'm just curious.
Well, the thing is, it has to happen, right? Because think about it, right? You have to fight for what's yours. If you're losing at basketball now, if you're getting ran out of the NBA by people who are biracial, if you're getting beat in the rap game by people who are biracial, all of the things that were culturally, where you had this cultural dominance, right? If those things are now under attack by people who are mixed, of course you're naturally going to fight for it. Now, are you going to win? I don't think so. But of course you have to fight for these things. And that's funny that the Sperling conversation came up because that was definitely a back and forth between, he and I about, him playing his pro blackness card. And there's another guy, I forgot the other guy's name.
He's mixed. That's the thing. Dennis Sperling, he pretends like he's a black and he provided his genetic tests and all. He's just the same phenotype as me and you, bro. Yeah. But that's historically how it is. You have mixed guys who try so hard to fit into black society. They have to blacken it up and out black everybody else to try to G-check the other mulattoes from kind of getting, uppity, so to speak. But I saw this, bro. I've seen you for a minute on social media and YouTube. The
And
whole
what's funny is I originally I wasn't even trying to go down the lines of the racial thing, but it just always came up. And for me, listen, you come at me for being light, I'm going right to hell for you being dark. So you better have your sensitive guards on, because I'm telling you, if you come at me left, I'm going right to hell. And I don't know if you've seen me go right to hell with people, but I'm not Drake. Okay, I will attack you based upon, if you may say something about me being too light, I will say something about you being dark. And I'm not. Yeah. So yeah.
Oh, I've seen it, and I've applauded you from the beginning. I've seen you check them, and I loved it, man. I've seen it from the beginning. I was like, we need more energy like that. Yeah, so I've known about you for a minute, and I've seen that. Yeah, because I followed some of Dennis Sperling's circles, and he makes some points and stuff like that. But he's one of these guys, these mixed light-skinned mulatto guys who wants to fit into black society. So what does Dennis Sperling do? What does he do? He gets a dark-skinned Jamaican woman, has kids with her, so his offspring are black. Basically, he absorbs himself into the black group, which a lot of mulattoes do. And I get that. I've been noticing that trend, that pattern for a minute. Very interesting stuff. So it's surprising how you found my channel through the whole Drake situation. That's kind of it's funny because people like were kind of getting on me, like, you're talking about celebrity gossip and blah blah blah. I'm like, look,
keep doing it.
I'm using this. I'm using this whole Drake shit to, like, I want the right people to find my channel. I want to signal to people, hey, we're talking this shit over here. We see what's going on. We're going to cut to the meat of the matter with this whole not like us and the whole Kundrick Lamoist and the whole pro dark skin crowd. We see what's going on. We're laying out the delineation over here. And I'm happy you found my channel.
Dude, I've been watching for a while. Like, I think I've been watching for a while. I've been watching you for a while. I've told other people about you. And like, I was like, hey man, maybe you should, bring this guy on or whatnot, because the thing about it, and going back to Sperling, it is, I, as somebody who is mixed, I don't look at myself as a victim, right? I do look at like when they say privilege, I do think that I am privileged, right? I do think that, my height, my genetics, all of these things I think are privileged. And I don't aspire to be lower. And this is the issue that I have with, the Kendrick stuff. He is, and I think Angry Man, and I don't know if you watch Angry Man,
especially with the Kendrick stuff, I have been. I agree with Angry Man 100. Yep.
I don't aspire to live his lifestyle. I very much want victory, and victory is what comes when I listen to Drake's music. I don't listen to, Negro spiritual slave tunes about being oppressed. I don't want to hear that, right? And the thing is, if these people want to see themselves as oppressed, that's on them. I believe that I can do whatever I want to do. I believe that, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, maybe when I listen to some of the people say that they're oppressed, I mean, maybe you're right, and it's just not my experience. But don't tell me to take on, I'm not here, like you say, the subservient role, okay? I'm not here to serve your interest, right? And it's funny because they always say biracial people are confused or whatever. No, I think that a lot of times it's the black population that's confused, because when somebody does something you want them to do, they're black. But then when they want to delineate, you call them a sellout, but then you say that they can, and then you like it. It's they're, I think largely they're confused, because when mixed people do what you want them to do, they're black. But then when they don't, they're a sellout. But then when Dominicans say that they're not black, then there's this big issue. But then when you want to push them out, then you put, it's just so confusing. It just,
so it's a catch-22. If you're familiar with the novel, and if you're not just the phrase, but the novel, right? In the novel, Yossarian wants to get out of flying. So he pretends to be insane. But the fact that he pretends to be insane means that he's intelligent enough to be able to fly. So it's contradiction. Thus the catch-22 slogan. So it's a catch-22 for mixed race people, for mulattoes in the US. It's the way it is. Again, this country isn't fair to people. And what you mentioned is just an aspect of that. Like you're trying to make explicable the sort of inexplicable, or you're trying to rationalize or make rational the irrational.
I think the country is very. I disagree with that. I think that so. First off, I don't believe that fairness exists, but I think America has been very much gracious to people of all backgrounds.
I don't think America's been gracious to mixed race people, and specifically mulattoes.
The thing
I don't
is,
think
Al,
the one drop rule is graciousness.
the thing is,
Well,
Al, we have to fight for what's
it's
ours.
Where are people
And
doing
that's-
where are mixed race people doing the best at?
Well, I mean, there are different countries with mixed race people.
Where are they doing the best
I
at?
mean, I'm not, again, if you look at the state of mixed race people in this country, it's like, you could talk about where they're doing best at, but
Yeah.
are they really mixed race people?
We have
In
to
other
do
countries, they can at least acknowledge that they're mixed race. They can be
We're doing
biracial.
it- but
In
we're
South
doing it
Africa, they can be
here.
colored.
Yeah,
In
but they're
Brazil,
also
they can be
poor.
colored.
But they're
We're-
also poor.
No, they're poor, but they're still what? That's a different argument.
We're
But
doing
that's what
it
I'm
here
saying.
You can have
right
a
now,
different
though.
argument about that.
No,
I'm talking about race here. I'm not
But
talking
hold-
about economics.
But the thing is this: that it all goes hand in hand, right? You're saying that
To an extent, but
no.
I'm not discussing economics entirely. And
Yeah,
I don't really care whether you could be well off and you could be biracial, but if you're still going to be discriminated against, if you're still going to have songs said about you, Drake is a multimillionaire, but guess what? There's a song called "Not Like Us" about him.
So
There's still disdain about him.
it's
There's
still
still racism about him.
It's still, but the
There's
thing
a
is, hold on a
song
second. Hold on a
about
second. No,
It-
let me say something. Let me
Hold
say
on,
something
it's
real
a
quick.
different argument.
But you don't
It's a
have the
different
ability.
argument.
Hold on a second. Let me say something real quick.
Go ahead.
You sound like one of them. Okay, you're not a victim.
You're not a victim.
It doesn't matter the song, right? Kendrick Lamar is a short, talentless person who doesn't like what he sees when he looks in the mirror.
Facts.
He is, and so mixed people can be everything. But one thing I'm not going to take is the whining that other people do. Okay?
I agree.
And so mixed, like, even if you look at a lot of the accomplishments of people that were black, a lot of these people were mixed. Mixed people here live a very
What
good
do you
life.
think I noted about history in this country?
The
What?
thing is, Al,
I
look,
mean, that's fine, but again, you got to look at the fact.
Al, there's a song about Donald Trump. There's a song, I think it's by YG.
Yeah.
And
Nipsey Hussle.
It's called F Donald Trump. Like, the president has a diss song about him that people sing at concerts. So the fact that people have a song about a person or a group, like, it's not the pressing issue here. And I agree with Patriarchy Strikes Back. We cannot position ourselves to be victims. Look, I'm up here talking my shit. The mulatto consciousness is growing. The fact that Patriarchy Strikes Back found my channel, has been listening to me for a minute, and he's jumped on the panel, this means something. Like, there's more and more people, and I have people from other countries. I have Eloy Swartz from South Africa. I have South African colors and Pardos in Brazil, all over the planet. People are listening. People are tuned into this content. So the consciousness is growing. I'm not a victim. We're not a victim over here. What I do with my social media is point out that people are talking about us. They're highlighting us and putting basically a target on our back. We have to take notice of that. But go ahead.
Right, but what I'm saying is, but it seems to me you want to argue about biracial people being mistreated and treated unfairly, but you don't want to be seen as a victim. However you want to be seen is up to you. I don't really care what words you use.
He's creating a community. There's a difference between
That may
being
be
a victim.
true. That may be true, but what I'm saying is this: you have to look at what the problems are, and if you don't want to call yourself a victim, That's fine by me. I don't care.
But this
But the
channel's
problem is still
this channel
discrimination and
celebrates.
racism. Right. The problem is still discrimination and racism. And that's the point. And so
Okay.
if you don't want to deal with the
Discrim-
problems against mixed race people and biracial people and mulatto people, it's going to be hard to make these arguments if you don't deal with that. Now, again, however you want to see yourself and if you want to see yourself in a context that isn't a victim, I don't have a problem with that. But I'm a pragmatist and I'm a realist. And
Okay.
there's always been race, and it's always been an unfair stack deck against mulatto and mixed race people in this country.
Okay.
You're
Always
right.
has been.
So,
And you're
let me ask
seeing
you.
it right
You're right.
now.
So let
That's
me
the
ask you.
point.
So let me ask you a question. You say you deal in reality. What is the reality?
I'm a realist.
Who
Yeah,
is
I'm a
okay?
pragmatist.
Who is doing better? Mixed race people or black people?
That's, again, you would have to look at the statistical populations.
Yeah,
First
in
of
the
all, it
United
depends
States.
on how you break down. First of all, I'm not interested in having an argument of who's doing better economically.
Mixed race people are doing better.
But
So
you would have to make that argument. I'm not making an argument economically about who's doing better, who's doing worse. That's not what I'm interested in.
We're doing better. Mixed race people are doing better economically,
I mean,
politically,
you know,
socially.
politically,
you know,
this channel,
again,
right?
if you're going to make those arguments, again, you
Al,
got to bring up the data and you got to show it.
We have the
That's what I
data.
would say.
let's let patriarchy kind of chime in for a minute.
The
I
thing
mean,
is this, right?
that's not my
Oh
argument,
God,
and I'm
man.
not.
Go ahead,
The
patriarchy.
thing is this. There are several. The thing is this. The goal of the channel, hopefully, right? The goal of what we're doing on social media is to grow. Is to grow financially. Is to grow socially, and it's to build a community, right? It's to do the same things that the other people such as Tariq and Tariq has done a great job with building his platform. The other guy, the other Pan-Africanist guy, the Dr. Umar. The goal is to build a community based upon pride in yourself, right? And also, um, pointing out news. That's the goal, right? And it's something that needs to be done via social media. This is how things are done now, right? But this idea that a while it does need to be pointed out that there are these issues between the groups, the idea that I'm going to throw the United States in the trash based upon what a couple people have done, especially a couple people that no other group really likes, to be honest with you, is not beneficial at all. I think it's best to work within the system, and I think that right now, working within the American system is beneficial to people who of all races. And so I don't think that what you're saying is true. I don't.
Well, first of all, you don't know what I'm saying. Secondly, I'm not here to talk about whether the American system wins or loses, or about what economically, who's doing better economically. Now, your point that you made about mixed race people, I guess in regards to Mulatto Vanguard channel, I guess is accurate. I don't know. It's his channel, so he would have to do that. I've been in mixed race groups for a long time. So that's a difference.
Are you mixed race?
Well, are you?
I'm the one on camera. It's obvious.
Well, yeah, I am. Well, I wouldn't be here if I wasn't.
Okay. All right.
I mean, that should tell you
feel
something. That's common
disappointed? Do
sense.
you feel disappointed to be mixed race?
Do you?
No, hell no. I love myself.
Okay,
I wouldn't want to be anything else.
Okay, so what I'm telling you is this. I've been in groups for a long time. So I'm not a Johnny come lately. So I look at things from a long-term perspective, from a long game. And when you're dealing with this, when you're dealing with mixed race people, part of what you said or what you noted is accurate from what I've seen to an extent. It is about building community, and it is about dealing with the problem, dealing with issues that come up on social media, because that's the best that you can do on social media. So I'm not really interested in, whether you know, their mixed race people are doing better than black people and so forth, or what those arguments are. I'm interested in what the obstacles are in regards to biracial people and mixed race people in this country, what they've been historically, what they are now, and what the way is to getting to what you noted before, community. Not just community online, but community in a larger context, in the carbon-based world as opposed to the digital world. And to do that, like has been brought out here, you got to deal with the sweet, you got to deal with the sour as well as the sweet. You can't have it both ways. You can't have it one way. So again, that's basically how I do. You know how that's how I've seen things, and that's how things have been. So again, all this other stuff, some of what you note is fine, but some of what you note, I'm like, it's not an either or thing. Like, it's not whether they're better off or whether they're not better off or so forth. Again, it comes down to what are the obstacles, what are the problems, what are the issues, what are the aspects, and how do you not only analyze them, but how do you deal with them? Because that's ultimately what the challenges are, right? Now, the song, what is that you mentioned, Not Like Us? That song
Yeah.
doesn't really mean anything in and of itself, but it's emblematic of attitudes that have existed against biracial people, attitudes that have existed against mulatto people, attitudes that have existed against mixed race people. That's
So
the important when it comes to this song in and of itself. To me, other than that, it's not important.
okay, yeah, you're focused on the. I mean, that's fine. If you'd like to focus on the issues, that's fine. I mean, there were some things that you said about America and the discrimination and all this kind of stuff earlier. I feel that America has definitely helped out when it comes to um, all groups in their struggles. Not Like Us is a minstrel show song with a bunch of ghetto kids dancing with whiteface on. It is here today and it will be gone tomorrow. Okay, and it was a song that was created by a short man with nappy hair who feels bad about what he looks at when he goes into the mirror, and it's a horrible song. I mean, I just don't. In that one song, um, I still think Drake had the better song. Um, and these people, they're never gonna. They're not even proud of themselves. Okay, and so like you would think, right, that if they project their hatred out on people who are white or people who are mixed or whoever they project their hatred out on, they're not happy with themselves. They don't like the way that they are. They don't like the way that they look. They don't like the way that that their community looks, or that they just need a scapegoat for that. Okay? Eventually, when there's nobody else to blame and they have to look at themselves, that's when the real magic is going to happen. So I'm not worried about the song is stupid. He can have one summer, he can have a Super Bowl. It doesn't take away from a decade of what Drake did. Drake has been doing this for a decade, bro, like over a decade, right? It doesn't take away from all the things that he did because he got this one song. Kendrick is just protected by white cancel culture. That's all this is. Because if Drake makes one song about how dark Kendrick is, everybody's going to have a heart attack. And that's because people like Kendrick, and they're lashing out on mixed people, they're protected by white cancel culture. If Drake makes a song, called Darky, they're all gonna start crying.
Yep. The dark skinned black Bantus are protected by the white cancel culture.
Yeah, of course.
Period. The darkies, the dark skins are protected by the whites. Period. The liberal cancel culture they're all pro Kendrick. I saw a video, I'm going to share it on his channel soon, where it was like a business meeting with these whites over one of their, business conferences. They're all dancing to Not Like Us. This is what it is now. They have embraced that and they work together. Remember, Kendrick's fan base, he gets these awards from these award, like the Pilts. I don't know how to pronounce the name of the award show. Pilsford, whatever awards. Like, he gets accolades and awards from white institutions, but Kendrick promotes and positions himself as this woke, anti-industry, pro-black hip hop artist, and he's financed and supported by whites. It's hilarious. This pro-black shit. All the pro-black shit is to basically flex on the mulattoes and the multiracial people who are quote unquote not like them. That's all the pro-black shit is. It's just a bunch of blacks flexing on people who are not dark skinned and black like them. A lot of mulattoes who are stuck over there, sucks for them, because over here we talk our shit and we're living it up. But I'm gonna close it out now, guys. We're about 2 hours deep into
Yep.
this. If you guys have some final words, Patriarchy Strikes Back, I'd love to have you on in the future some other
Yeah.
time. But yeah, go ahead.
Listen, I think that Al made some good points. I think you made some good points. I just think, like I said, I don't really have much to close on. I'll be back in the future, but going forward, this is very much this division. This is the beginning. This issue with biracial people now being put into the mainstream through Kamala Harris and through the Kendrick Lamar situation. This is only the beginning of this. This will get as everything that happened. I think this started in 2020. All of the 2020 BLM stuff, it's all being reversed. And this is a situation where one group of people went so far left. I think that the pushback will be extreme. It's only starting, right? Because they're making songs called "They Not Like Us," but they're going to be people coming out with songs called "We Not Like Y'all," and then they're going to be crying. So with that being said, I'm gonna leave. But I appreciate you having me on.
Hey, appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
Your voice is definitely wanted over here. Thank you so much for hopping up on here.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
All right, bye.
I agree, yeah, with everything he's saying, man, with the whole not like us and the pushback, because that's what it is. Like, you're gonna have us push back against them and they're gonna be whining and crying. It's facts, pure fact.
And if you kick us out, right? If you kick us out of the community, we need reparations, because when we look at the accomplishments, when we look at Frederick Douglass's or Charles Drew or all these other people, hey, if you want to delineate, we're going to need some reparations, because we've kind of carried the race a little bit. I'm sorry, we kind of have. So with that, I'll get out of here, man. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Yep.
100% facts. Al Show, do you want to provide your final thoughts, please?
Yeah, sure. Again, one of the things that I do, what I've done when I've been up here, is I mentioned a couple of things. So we're talking about, this is after the election, and this is what I said on this panel for the election happened. I said this, I think there may have been some people on this panel, I'm not sure. What I said is, they've already, meaning the Republicans, have already begun to attack Kamala Harris on her biraciality and using that as a wedge issue. It's not the reason she lost, but it was a dividing point.
I agree, Al. The thing is, Kamala Harris is not a proud multiracial woman. That's the thing to understand. I get it, Al. I'll let you finish. I just want to say,
okay.
but
Right, but that's obvious.
She flip-flops from being a black representative to an Indian, and she's not firm in her position. So that's why it's hard for me to kind of defend her. You understand that? Like, if she was proud to be mulatto,
Well, that's a whole
or mixed
different
race-
story, whether you want to
Right.
defend her or not. I don't want to get into that. But see, the point that I made was not whether you should defend her or not. That's up to people. There are people who would defend her as a biracial person. I understand that. But the point that I was trying to point out to mixed race people, to mulatto people, was this. What's happened is a change is already occurring. this is an indication of a change that you didn't see with Obama, because the way they treated Obama was basically as a black person, because he ran as a black person. With Kamala Harris, that couldn't work because they were going after her in terms of her biraciality. That's what Trump and the Republicans did. Now, again, it's not the reason she lost, but what I was trying to tell people is this is an indication of what's happening in the society. And it's an indication of what I've warned people about for years on mixed race groups. This is the problem that I've noted with wannabe people, right? I've said, if you see yourself, if you're biracial and you don't see yourself as a biracial person, because you were saying Kamala Harris doesn't see herself multiracial. This is the problem that people have. If you don't see yourself as a multiracial person or a biracial person, you will experience problems trying to fit within a monoracial community.
I agree 100%, Al.
That's the problem. And that's one of the biggest problems. This is what I've been saying for years, is it doesn't work for biracial people. Now you have an option. I granted it's not perfect, it's not great, it always could be better, but at least you have what a lot of people didn't have years ago. And at this point, if you want to be a wannabe, you got to take the sour with the sweet. It means you're going to be treated badly, possibly in the community you want to be a part of, because people will automatically see that you're not quite one of them, that you're not like us. So that's what people have to understand. What happened to Kamala Harris was a biracial wake-up call. I don't know if she understands that. Maybe she does. I'm sure she does. But this is an indication of what's happening in the society. They're not like us. All I would say about that is that's a social indication of that through that song. I mean, it's clear that that song is anti-mulatto. People
It's
will say
significant. Al,
Yeah.
it's significant because Kendrick is going to be awarded a Grammy for it, which is the highest achievement in the music industry. Not only that, he's going to get positioned to go to the Super Bowl, which is, we know, in the
That's right.
United
He's going to
States,
play the Super
American
Bowl.
football, it's the number one sport in the country. So it is significant. The anti-mulatto sentiment is at the forefront of geopolitical, of geopolitics. We have to
Well,
acknowledge that.
when I noted that song before, I said that's a musical indication or an indication. Like if you wanted a tiny little thing that showed you anti-biracial, anti-mulatto, not like us. Now, I don't make a big deal about the song. I mean, for other people, it's more significant than it is to me. But I say it's a social indicator. And the point that I make to people is always, it's always better if you're mixed race, biracial, multiracial, mulatto, whatever, to identify as mixed race. I've said this for years and I'll keep saying it. And you're seeing this happen in this society. That's the point. I point out Kamala Harris because what happened to Kamala Harris can happen to you. All she did was lose a major election. Now, she lost an election, so she doesn't get to be president. But you could lose out on other things. You could lose out on a job. You could lose out on, friends. You could even lose out on relatives to a certain extent. You could lose out on a lot of other things. I mean, again, you have to look at the fact that historically in this society, that these currents have been around. And so the best that I can tell people is, as I've said for years, it's always best to be honest with yourself as a biracial, multiracial, mixed race person and try to live in a mixed race, have a mixed race identity and to be honest about it. Psychologically, it's better. I think maybe, I don't know if it'll be better economically for you. That's debatable. But psychologically and mentally and emotionally, it's better because you're not trying to fit in. You're not trying to be part of a community that has its own reasons for distrusting you, and to be honest, I mean, I've talked to some African Americans who acknowledge that biracial people are biracial and no problem with them because they aren't dealing with honesty.
What do you
Even
think about
those people were confused. Go ahead.
What do you think about this comment here from
Go on.
Anonymous? She says, I saw a TikTok of a woman complaining about how much biracial people are talking about being biracial lately. Like the guy, the patriarchy strikes back said, this is only a tip of the iceberg. We're only
You know,
starting this discussion.
what I would say to that is that's just plain ignorance and stupidity. Biracial people, we're biracial people. Why in the hell shouldn't we talk about being biracial? I know that you
We have to
saw
make
that
blacks,
right.
we have to
That
make blacks feel good. We have to make them feel good. We have to cater to their sensibilities.
I
We have
don't
to
think
make
you
sure
have to make anybody feel good or cater to anybody's sensibilities.
that's how
That's what. But if you're a part of that community, that's an issue. That's why I say, if you're a mixed race person who wants to see himself as monoracial, whether it's black, white, or other, okay, good luck to you. That's what I tell them. That's why I don't deal with them. I go, yeah, okay, you deal with that, fine.
Yeah, the
But
wannabes are the worst. I agree
that's
with
what
you.
I'm saying. I mean, but what they're not seeing is what we're talking about. They're not looking at this. They're not seeing it, or if they're seeing it, they'll think, "Oh, that's not going to happen to me. Oh, I won't have that problem." That happened to a woman who was running for the president of the United States. You don't think that can happen to you? Time for you guys to wake up out there.
Yeah,
That's a biracial wake up call. And some of you people out there need to heed it.
definitely.
Time to stop playing games.
Thank you, Al. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll leave on that. I think that's a good time to leave on that.
For sure. I'm gonna
Wake
close
up,
this out.
folks.
Thank you. Yep. Yeah, appreciate the panelists hopping up on here, guys. The panel, I have the link dropped. I think I have it pinned as well. It's open for all you guys, even the South African colored gentlemen and ladies as well. This is international. You guys, if you guys are available, jump on a panel, hop up on here, have a conversation. This is a open forum here. I appreciate everybody who jumped up on here. The Owl Show is always in Patriarchy Strikes Back. Like I said, even with the Patriarchy Strikes Back, what he mentioned, where it's like, basically, this is a tip of the iceberg. This is only the beginning. Like, I've been blabbing my mouth for what, 2 years now? Like, and this is like some part-time, just on the side shit. I'm not a full-time content creator. I don't do this for a living. I got my Cash App on the screen. But like, this is not like, I'm not generating income from this where it's like, this is my business or full time. Like, this is an avenue for me to kind of vent out, I will admit, but to speak to you guys, to have a information communication network for you guys so we can all exchange ideas. And look, we're not going anywhere. Like, we're not going anywhere. And if anything, we're amplified now with the whole Kendrick and Drake thing. And I like how the fact the Patriarchy Strikes Back, his channel, he basically said he found me because of the whole Drake thing. Yeah, I posted a lot of Drake content. I'm not the biggest Drake fan, I'll admit. I like a few of his songs. He's got some good tracks, but it was very clear how Blackistan, the dark-skinned Bantus, they use Drake as a proxy to attack mulatto excellence. It was very clear the angle they used with not like us. Oh, you not like us, because your mama's white and you from Canada and all the other lies the Bantus say. Like, it was very clear that this was an anti-mulatto. So I saw that and I was like, okay, let me now put out some content and signal to the mulattoes out here that this is where we're at. We're having these discussions out here. So I'm happy that people are finding it. People are watching the content. People know what's going on. And that's a blessing. I'm happy about that. Mission accomplished. I accomplished my mission tonight. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Please, guys, post a comment. Let me know what you think. Share the live. Hit the live button. And I'll talk to you guys pretty soon. Sayonara.